Olivia, as you can tell, was just like you all. She's a teenager, she's happy, she loved life, she was an outstanding student, she was an outstanding athlete, being recruited by Division I schools all over the country to play softball in the 10th grade. Number one, she was a Christian. Whatever your belief is, that's our belief. She was a Christian. She had just been baptized November of 2016. On December 22nd, she wanted to spend the night with a friend. A really sweet girl, and we loved dearly. Her mom and I allowed her to. She left home at about 8:30 that night. When she got to the door, I told her, she turned around, I said, "Olivia, you make sure you answer the phone, because I always want to know where my kids are all the time." Because I was Virginia State Trooper and a deputy sheriff, over 20 years in law enforcement, 12 years with the state police. So I know what can happen when you're out there. She turned around, she looked at me, she said, "I will, Daddy." And the last thing she said was, "I love you." And that's the last time I saw my child. That night, at about 10:30, she and her friend Casey had gone to pick up a friend. Casey was driving, Olivia was just a passenger. They picked up the friend. From what he told us, this is a small car. He got in the back. Olivia was about 5'9". She was a tall girl. She moved her seat all the way to the front, basically up to the dash, so he'd have some room. And she was having trouble getting her belt locked, so she didn't put her belt on. She locked it behind her. They left and went up the road. They were approximately a mile from our house. Her friend decides she wants to play this stupid game. It's called the 100-mile-an-hour club, where you take a Snapchat of your speedometer on 100 miles an hour. They told her to slow down. She said, "I'll make it go 100. She stopped it. Probably 30 seconds later, Casey and Olivia were gone. She met a car. She was halfway in the middle of the road on a small 2-lane road. She jerked the wheel, went into a yaw, and then into a 4-way skid, hit a guardrail that launched them up in the air. They struck several trees and went down a ravine about 30 or 40 feet. All three were ejected. The young man that was in the back seat, he lived, but he was broken up really bad. Everybody came out of the driver's door. Casey actually even had a seatbelt on, but the crash was so powerful that her seatbelt was cut and she was thrown out of there. All those years as a Virginia State Trooper, I never thought it would happen to me. I made this knock right here on hundreds of doors. Hundreds of doors. To tell parents and loved ones that their child, their mother, their father, their brother or sister was gone. And it broke my heart every time. I would pray with them, I would talk with them, I'd offer every bit of sympathy I could offer. And I knew what could happen. But the reality of it ever happening to me, because I preach to my children every day about driving safe. And so far as I know, Olivia and her older sister Sarah, who's now in college, drove safe. But her friend made a horrible, horrible choice. Okay? The choices that you make, and it doesn't matter what age you are, this is to the parents too, the choices that you make, they not only affect you, but they affect everybody around you. They don't have to be just your relatives. This entire community was devastated with the loss of these two young girls. And not just this community, this whole state. And the softball community from Mississippi and Alabama all the way up north. She played ball all up and down the East Coast. Made friends everywhere. They were all affected by this. Everybody's heart was broken. Everybody misses her. I mean, I can't describe what it's like to wake up every day and not have your child. And that's what this program here is about. Whatever they teach you out here about driving, it's the best thing in the world they can do, because your driver's ed programs in your schools. I have not found one in the country yet that teaches you how to drive. They teach you how to operate a motor vehicle. They don't teach you how to drive. This school is here to teach you the right things to do. But the most important thing they can teach you is that the choices that you make not only affect you, but it affects everybody. That one time that Casey decided that she wanted to drive 100 miles an hour, whether that was at first, which we know that wasn't at first, we found out later, it has basically completely changed. Our lives will never be the same. It's changed everything for us. And it's changed everything for a lot of other people, like her teammates and her friends. That one choice, one lapse in judgment. So when you get behind the wheel of a motor vehicle, the easiest thing in the world to do is don't speed. How hard is that? Wear your seatbelt. I don't know that Olivia would be here with the horrible impact, but it's possible that she would be here if she'd had her belt on. Don't text and drive, and for God's sakes, do not drink and drive. None of you in here should be drinking anyway. I don't think there are any kids in here over 21 years old. But if you do, do not drink and drive. It's the easiest choice in the world to make, to do the right thing. Okay? Because you have to do the right thing for not only for you, but for the passenger you have in there. When you're in a car and the speedometer gets up to 60 miles an hour and it starts to pass 60, who's it pointing at? Your passenger, right? So you're not only taking your life in your hands, but your passengers and everybody else out here on the road. I've got a fellow retired trooper in here. He knows what a mobile weaponry platform is. That's what a car. That's a car. That's what they used to call it, the state police, a mobile weaponry platform, because you got a 3,000 or 4,000 pound vehicle. What more powerful weapon do you have to take out people by doing something stupid? Maybe his friend made a really stupid decision, and her family, our family, and our entire community is paying for it. I don't pull any punches, because if I don't tell you the truth, you don't learn anything. If your parents sugarcoat everything, your friends, your family, and they say, oh, everything's going to be all right. You know, if you just go out and you halfway do this and that, everything will be fine. That's not the way life works. You are responsible for your choices. I'm responsible for my choices. Okay? When you're out there driving, just make that simple right choice and do the right thing. And if you see a friend who is doing something they're not supposed to do, they're speeding, they're not wearing the seatbelt, they're driving recklessly, tell them. Tell them. Go to somebody and tell them that Annie or John or whoever it is, that they're not doing what they're supposed to do, that you saw them speeding, that you saw them driving recklessly. We found out a week after this accident, and I shouldn't call it an accident because it's not. When you intentionally exceed the speed limit, you intentionally drive recklessly, it's not an accident, it's a wreck. An accident is when a deer runs out in front of you and you skid on a wet road driving the speed limit under the speed limit. This is a wreck, okay? It's an intentional act. Maybe what happened is not intentional, but when you exceed the limit, you do this sort of thing, it's an intentional act. We found out that she'd been driving crazy like this ever since she got her license. She'd done this 2 or 3 different times. Her parents didn't know, but there were friends who knew, who came and told me about it later. And of course, excuse my French, that just pisses me off, because if somebody had said something, maybe my child would be here, maybe she would be here. And this young man whose life is devastated now, wouldn't be dealing with what he's dealing with. So people saw her drive like this. A friend of her family saw it and did not tell. So if you see something, you have to step up and tell. Wouldn't you rather have your friend alive and thanking you when you're 20 or 25 years old or 30 years old, or when you got kids and grandkids and you're all sitting together and carrying on? I promise you, they will tell you, you remember when you told my mom that I was driving recklessly, or my dad, or my teacher, or whatever? They'll say thank you, I promise. They will get over it. Do the right thing. That's the easiest way to survive. Every kid in here and every adult, you deserve to live. My child deserved to live. She had the brightest future of anybody I know of. And I deserve to have her. Driving is not a right. It's a privilege. Okay, has anybody ever told you that? Driving is a privilege. It is not a right. So take what these instructors are telling you, and take what your parents are telling you, and take it to heart. There is nothing funny about what we're going through. Okay? You think about your friends, all these people out here. But then you think about the people that are sitting in here with you. Out of all the people that you know, honestly, who would take a bullet for you? Who in this room, or who amongst your friends or whatever, would die for you? These parents that are sitting here. I would die for my children. If I could take her place, and I've asked God 100 times why I couldn't take her place, but it just wasn't meant to be. They will die for you. I don't know of anybody else besides these parents that will do that. So you take when they tell you to drive carefully, to slow down, the different lessons of life that they try to bring to you. They do it because they love you. And like I said, they will die for you. When you have a child, you get married, you're going to love your spouse, you love your friends, you have all this. But once you have a child, you'll know what love is. Right, parents?
Absolutely.
And you will give your life to them. So what they tell you is what you need to listen to. Don't let any friends or anybody else out here try to tell you it's okay to do something, to go drink and drive, to drive fast. We're going to race, we're going to do this. It's not. Listen to the people who would die for you. I mean, I can't describe what it's like to wake up every day and not have your child